Hey, good morning, everybody. Daniel here with Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration, and welcome to another episode of Home Cooking, where we make home ownership made easy. And man, what a week it has been for homeowners. I think anywhere between 60 and 90-mile-an-hour winds is what we have recently had through pretty much all of DFW. Now, some areas got hit much worse, but on average, I would say 75-mile-an-hour winds came through on last Thursday. So, and it's been extremely busy with calls, people trying to get their homes fixed before the next rain coming in. And we're going to talk today, especially about what homeowners need to know about wind damage, what that means to their home, to the property, and then what is the major difference in wind damage versus hail damage, and what do you need to know as far as insurance as well. So, Lyndon Wilson is with us. Come on, Lyndon.
What's up?
Hey, Lyndon, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. I dodged all of the damage, so I feel terrible for all that didn't. You know, when you hit, I was watching the news and they were talking about the 70, and somewhere it hit close to 100. I don't know if it hit 100. So, and I feel dumb for asking this question. What are hurricane? What is that classified at? Because somebody was actually saying that we had hurricane force winds, obviously not sustainable like a hurricane would.
Right.
But I mean, if you want to know what one feels like, all you have to do is step outside, and good luck.
Yeah, now, I don't think we were measuring on hurricane speeds. We were measuring on tornadic speeds.
Okay.
So an EF0, I think, begins at 70 miles an hour. And I believe an EF1 then jumps at like 85.
Okay.
So we had between EF0, EF1 winds. And honestly, I think there was definitely a touchdown up near Salina.
Look, yeah,
Because I went out there to several homes. And when you pull through some of these developments, you can almost see like it's across the street from a field and some other wide openings. And you can see just like a path.
Yeah.
Where trees are just bent in half, fences are just blown through, and it's only in like a 10 or 20 yard wide span, where you can see a substantial amount of debris and everything just went through this path and this field, and you could see it. I took the drone out and I got up, and you could just see the path as it went through this home development and across the field and everything. So I believe that was there. I have not heard any official sighting yet, or if the Weather Association has came out and said yes for sure. But I really do truly feel that it was basically a tornado right there.
You were asking me before the show if we had any damage in our neighborhood, and like I said, I haven't seen any in the neighborhood I live in, but I was out, I think the day after. And I can't remember where I was driving, but it was kind of out in the country. So a lot of people had those carports, the metal pole. Mm-hmm. I saw so many of those flipped. One was flipped up on top of a Jeep. So I'm sure that they're happy about that. But the biggest thing was and you mentioned it, was the fences. I don't know I guess that's just probably the most obvious when you're just cruising around. I'm not going to stop and look at roofs like you do and stuff like that, but golly, man, I'm talking about some fences just flattened.
Yeah, and I saw solid brick fences completely blown over. So I mean, it was intense, and again, I mean, the weather is crazy, and when you get in some of these open fields and there's no resistance, it becomes truly where and people may not have heard, but they're straight line winds can be more damaging than a tornado even. Mm-hmm. Because it's gaining force as it's going through those fields because there's no resistance. Mm-hmm. So the front comes through and you get these outbursts is what those are. Those outburst straight line winds. And when those hit, materials, fences, campers, carports, like you mentioned, lighter objects. Those things just get catapulted. And I when I've been out, I've seen people set campers up beside their home or their RVs. I saw three of those flipped over on their sides. I mean,
It's funny you
it's
said that because the first thing I did the next morning, we've got ours stored here not far from the house, and I drove over there because I'm like, I figured they would have called me already, but I go over there. Unfortunately, there was nothing.
yeah. Winds are very troublesome, and it's something that a lot of people overlook because let's face it. Okay, the winds that we had here last week are not normal. Those are you don't see those every year. You don't see those all the time here, but they are very possible as people can see. I mean, we can get on normal 60, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Now, the 80s and the 90s are not normal, but hey, we got to be prepared in Texas. We live in North Texas. We love it here, but you better be prepared for weather.
Yeah.
So some of the things that homeowners need to know, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, and and again, people underestimate Mother Nature. So I went out personally this last 4 or 5 days. 3 houses got hit with trampolines. Okay, 3 houses got hit with trampolines, and I'm not talking like trampoline goes up and gives it a love tap. I'm talking like this one trampoline went probably at least in the air a minimum of 15 or 20 yards. It hit up on top of a house that was probably a minimum of 25 feet. Okay. And then when it hit the roof, it penetrated the decking.
What?
So the legs of the trampoline, so it moved over 25 yards up in the air, so flipping, and then hits a roof 25 feet up in the air, and the legs penetrate the decking.
That is unbelievable.
So in the neighbor's side, well, I didn't think my trampoline would get away. We have what are those little stakes? We have stakes around the legs in it. Well, the stakes are only about that long, Lyndon.
Uh-huh.
What's that going to do? This like a paracel. So when wind gets under that trampoline, it literally just lifts it right off the ground. And I'm telling you, and that was not the last one. We had another one. It wasn't at that extreme, but same thing. Neighbor's trampoline, wind pulls it up and just flips it right over to the neighbor's house. Now, these houses are only like 10 feet apart. So, it just was a boom,
Mm-hmm.
We have 3 calls for trampolines.
Well, the fact that it had that much velocity and that short of that's a long ways for a trampoline to fly.
Oh, yeah.
But to have that much velocity and force in going really a short distance to be able to go through decking on a house, that's scary.
Oh, yeah. This is a pretty interesting event. These are all very nice homes. This happened in Melissa, actually, in the northeast section of Melissa. And these are all acre lot homes, very nice. Roofs, are extremely nice. None of the roofs have missing shingles around here. This just happened to be a bad event for this trampoline and this homeowner. So, and of course, it caused water to go into the attic because it's pouring rain, right?
Yeah.
So now water got in the attic and water got in the home, so now we've got a penetrated roof, roof damage, gutter damage, fascia damage, siding damage, and now interior damage due to the water. So this is going to be a couple weeks, of work for this home to get it back up just because of a trampoline.
Right.
And not even their trampoline, it was their neighbor's trampoline. Worse. So, but yeah, these things happen. So trampolines, I would highly, highly encourage anybody that watches this program to tell people that have trampolines, and even tell people around you that have trampolines. You need to mount them to a chain or something solid.
Take care of your stuff.
Yeah, please. For my sake, please mount your trampoline. So those little stakes, they really are not good enough. And we've seen that. So I suggest taking a chain or some type of, rope, cable, and mounting it to a tree, mounting it to something solid that's not going to get, let the trampoline roll away. And again, that's not even full what, because you can pull one of those legs out pretty easy from the base, but just help keep those trampolines somehow secured. Because stakes
you got to take one of those things that's about 2.5, maybe 1.5 feet long that screw into the ground, kind of like auger, and that's where you can. I mean, that would help, wouldn't it?
That would help. Yeah, I think that's a better alternative. I mean, something that's going to give it some type of restriction of force, because those little stakes are not enough. And I don't know how many stakes this guy had in his trampoline. I mean, if he only had one per leg, I mean, that's definitely not enough. So they make longer stakes. They make those screwable stakes that you could probably pour in there, something, because trampolines they've become a projectile. I mean, I can't tell you enough. I mean, trampolines, carports, what else I see? Those mobile, smaller storage, Rubbermaid storage containers that you buy for your backyard. I saw 3 or 4 of those just completely wiped through a yard. Greenhouses, chicken coops, those things were a dime a dozen out here in West End and Salina. I can't tell you how many chicken coops got demolished.
What happened to the chickens?
I don't know. They're probably somewhere still in Kansas by now.
Wow. That sucks.
So I'm just telling you, man. It was intense.
Funny, but it's not funny.
No, it's not, but it's true. I'm telling you. I mean, it's amazing to see this win. And, people move out to the country because they want these larger lots and they want that nice feel for not being on top of the neighbors. But that comes with some responsibility. And, man, I can't tell you enough. When you got larger lots with less homes, that wind just rips through there because it has a lot less restrictive abilities.
Right.
And so some other things I've seen this week, people need to be aware about flags. Leaving your flag out. I'm telling you, those things get ripped out of those poles. Even those poles get ripped out from the braces.
Yeah.
So, people just got to be aware, and people's got to be prepared. They've got to take things out of their home and their yards that are going to become projectiles and problem damage. This lady's flagpole ripped her siding literally off her home. And it's like, okay, so now you're causing yourself $500 or $600 worth of damage because you just didn't simply take your flag off the brace. So
we've got one of those, I don't know, it's 8-9 foot tall, those propane torch heaters.
Yeah.
And I every time we have a decent wind, and we have decent winds all the time, that thing will turn. I have tried everything I can to figure out how to anchor it without drilling into concrete.
Right.
But because we want it to be mobile. So I've just learned now when my wife will send me a text, it's going to be windy, so I just go lay it down.
Well, it's smart. Hey, I'd rather be prepared. You got to, that's part of home ownership, right? We are all busy. I understand we leave in the morning at 6 a.m. and we come home at 6 o'clock at night for most people that are working in the fields and, out in the offices and all those kind of things. But, hey, if you don't watch weather around Texas, especially in springtime, shame on you. You need to be aware of what's going to happen around your home, your property, and your car, and your work schedules. You got to know. So
right.
But Texas is known for springtime storms, and we get storms year round. But springtime we know they're coming. It's just a matter of when and how much are they coming in. So, but be prepared. You need to walk around your home every time. You got to be aware of what you have around your house. The little landscaping lights, I see a whole bunch of those getting blown out with landscaping. Again, know your neighborhood, know what know what happens around, But yeah, trampolines, fences, anything lightweight, carports. We went to a commercial building. It had one of those parapots roofing. It had like a 48-inch metal awning around the whole top of the roof line to hide the ACs and everything.
Yeah.
That thing got completely blown off the roof. Just completely blown off, like a sail. So that was amazing to see. Tons of shingles being taken off of roofs and everything like that. So, lots of damage out there in this area where we're at, pretty much 380 north. That's where we saw the material existing down. A lot of the materialized damage of 380 north. But so what I want to really talk about, make sure everybody understands, is wind damage does not constitute a insurance claim. And we've had to do this so many times in this last few days, is tell people this is not enough damage, unfortunately, to file a claim. And sometimes it's after the fact. Sometimes they call the insurance, call the claim, and then call us. And we're like, okay, no, you don't need a claim. Well, I've already called the insurance people. They're supposed to be out. I'm like, oh, ugh. They're going to come out here and tell you it's below your deductible, and unfortunately, there's nothing they can do. So people really need to make sure they call somebody they trust and know to come out and inspect their home, inspect the roof, and see if they have enough damage that's going to constitute an insurance claim before they call the insurance. if they do, great. We're still there for them. But everybody panicked because they walked out their house the next morning and they saw shingles coming off the roof. And so they immediately assumed, I got to call my insurance company. And so now we're going to have this congestion of insurance claims, because just think, State Farm, Allstate, Farmers, probably 50 or 60% of the people have those three companies as insurance. So imagine how many people in north of 380 are calling their insurance companies. And so we're going to have this bog down of adjusters trying to get down to homes. And then that's going to hurt the people that actually do need them out,
Right.
The time frame. So it's a combination of everything. Every time something comes through, you can't just call your insurance. You need to be aware of who you can call to come out and make an assessment. And unfortunately, these homes have $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 deductibles. This wind damage on average is probably anywhere between $500 and $1,000 of damage. Just jump up there and put some shingles back together and redo some slopes and redo some items. There are rare occasions where some of this damage was $3,000 or $4,000, but still, it's probably below your deductible, and insurance is not going to do anything, anything above your deductible. And let's say even if it's $7,000, your deductible is still $5,000, so you're going to have to still come up with $5,000. So wind damage is scary, and it's also not as it's not as much liability to the insurance company. Let's say that. Okay. Hail damage, unfortunately, is much more damaging, and it's much more damaging to the entire roof. That's the biggest difference. This windstorm came out of the west, so your west-facing slope and your north-facing slope contain the majority of the damage.
Yeah.
And then your opposite slopes, south and east. I can't tell you, every roof I got up with, the south and the east slope looked like nothing had happened to it, but the west slope and the north slope had a ton of damage. And so that's just part of it. So wind versus hail, that's a big difference.
What happens, Daniel, when that happens and you've got to fix a portion of the roof, but maybe that roof is a bit older, and the shingles, it's hard to find match on the shingles. What do you do?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of people's policies do not have matching coverage. So, multiple insurance companies have told me that they're not in the business of matching. That's not their business. They're in the business of protecting the home, and so they tell us all the time, find a matching, similar or close to as possible shingle for those repairs. So a lot of times you will see a difference in shingle colors on homes that have been repaired, and it's an unfortunate casualty of doing repairs. There's not much you can do. And I will tell you the truth, even if a homeowner said, hey, I know the exact shingle, the exact color, I had that roof put on 12 years ago, and I even saved a bundle in my garage. Okay, great. Let's go look at the roof bundle. You take that bundle out, you put it up on that 12-year roof. Doesn't
look the same.
It's still going to stand out.
Right.
So
no matter, that other is faded a little bit.
12 years of sun, that's not going to, it's impossible.
Right.
So that's an unfortunate event. Now there are times where we jump up on a roof, and it's happened several times this last week. We go out, the customer calls us out due to the actual wind damage that just occurred, but the rest of the roof is terrible. It's in terrible condition. It needs to be replaced. And we take pictures, and he's like, hey, not only do you have this wind damage, but the rest of your roof is in terrible shape. You've had probably 3 or 4 major hailstorms come through. You didn't get any leaks, so you didn't call anybody out. Mm-hmm. And but now here's the pictures. Your whole roof needs to be replaced, because this is only one thing that's wrong with the roof. Now you've got all this other stuff, But majority of the time this week, it's been just small repairs. Small repairs that are, a few shingles here, a few shingles there, maybe a third of a square on one slope, so, and that's what's been so hard about getting to all these calls, is because every home has some type of damage, so it's like, when people always ask me, hey, why do we have 3,000 roofing companies? I'm like, thank God we have 3,000 roofing companies, because if not, man, we could not do all that. We probably have fielded 75 or 80 calls in our small company over the last 4 days. So,
I've never thought about it that way, but if you thought about roofing companies per home in the DFW area.
We need them.
Yeah.
We need them. Now, when I say that, please make
It's
sure
right.
you have a reputable roofing company come out to your home. Make sure you do some type of research on them. I mean, because you don't want just anybody pulling up in a truck with a magnetic sticker on the side of their truck saying, "Hey, we're roofers. We want to help you," because then you're going to make it worse. Because I've seen some repairs that are not repairs. I have seen some nasty stuff in the field that people literally take epoxy or cement, roofer cement, not cement, but roofer cement, and they just spread it over these shingles and hold them back down, or whole patch of holes with them and everything. And that's more detrimental to your roof than just leaving the shingles missing.
It's almost like knock on your door. Hey, I got a hammer and a Home Depot card. I'll fix your roof.
Man, I am seeing some stuff. So it's almost better, if people cannot fix your shingles the proper way, it's almost better just to put a tarp up there. Just put a tarp to prevent more damage or water from coming in your home. That's easy. There is a proper way of putting tarps up there.
Yeah.
I've seen so many people put tarps up wrong. To put a tarp up real quickly, we'll go over this. When you put a tarp on it, if it's near a ridge, you should go over the ridge, not below the ridge.
Mm-hmm.
You should go over the ridge and mount it over the ridge and then mount the other side down. Reason why, when water comes down, it's going to be able to disperse over that tarp on both sides. I've also seen where people will they'll just nail the tarp up on the shingles. That's not the right way. You're supposed to pry open one sleeve of the shingle roll and slide that tarp under those shingles, so that way when the water runs down the slope in the middle of a roof, it runs over those shingles and onto the tarp. Mm-hmm. If you just nail onto the shingles, the water is going to go under the tarp. So I can't tell you how many things I can see out here that people don't understand the right ways of doing these things. And
right.
So you got to make sure that if somebody knows what they're doing and do your due diligence. And thankfully, we've had a ton of people research us, and they said, "Wow, you've come across as a very reputable roofer and company, and my friends told me about you, our neighbors told me about you." So we've been very fortunate to have a great, ability of keeping a really good, referral base and knowledgeable, company. So thank goodness for our team. Our team's done a great job of going in the field and making sure they do the right things, and people see that, So wind damage versus hail damage versus being prepared around your home, so important. I can't tell you that. And this is just the 1st of March. We still got a solid 3 more months of this. So March, April, and May are notorious, our storm seasons. Again, we have tornadoes and storms in December. We have tornadoes and storms in August, June. So anything is possible, but
December.
The next 3 months, yeah. So anything is possible, but make sure you do not try to call your insurance every time. I can't tell you, we had several insurance companies that we partner with. And when I say partner, that's not, let me get that right. We are preferred vendors with several insurance agents around town. And the reason why we are is because they know we can go out and make a true assessment on a roof prior to their customer calling their claim in. And that's so important to do again. So we got several calls from our, insurance agents that we work with. And, that was made it so much easier for them, because we could say, no, they don't need a claim. They need a couple $100 of shingles. Or yes, this home needs a claim. Let's go ahead and y'all call it in, and it just got it faster, to get these homes taken care of, But
right.
That's the main thing. You need to have an insurance that you can call somebody and let them help you out. I can't tell you how many people, they don't have that. They have this insurance that they bought online, or they have a 1-800 insurance code number. They just call them out, and then they got third parties coming out, a week or 2 from now, and it's going to be a bad thing over this next couple of months, probably, with this windstorm. So,
right.
But preparedness around your home. Just double check everything. Kids' toys. I saw a whole bunch of what's those little riders for those like 2 and 3 year olds. Those little plastic toy trucks and dump trucks and all those things. I saw a whole bunch of those thrown around the yards, out into the streets.
Trash cans.
I'm sorry.
Trash cans.
Trash cans. Yeah, I mean, you just got to make sure, when thunderstorms are rolling through, you need to take everything down, or mount everything, or bring everything, set it down like you do with your heaters. let's stop, allowing this stuff to cause more damage around your home because, and we didn't talk about this, but your property, when it goes into your neighbor's yard and it damages their house, guess who's responsible for it?
You are.
Yeah. So why do you want to cost yourself more money by not just going out there in your backyard and taking down these things that are going to cause damage to other people's property?
Right.
Nobody wants to go and waste $500 or $1,000 because we didn't go out there and just take 2 minutes and set our property down. So that's important.
Yeah.
Broken windows, that happened several times up here also. So we need to be prepared. I'm not asking anybody to go out and plywood their windows like in hurricanes, but I mean, if you have weak windows, this one case was that this homeowner said that window's been cracked for 2 years and then it blew out during the wind. Well, yeah, it had no tension on it. It's going to blow out when you have 80-mile-an-hour winds come through there.
Right.
So if you have windows like that, I would suggest probably preparing those windows at least. But yeah, I mean, that's just what we've seen so far. This week has been crazy. And,
I bet.
Thankfully we got a great team and man, I'll tell you, I mean, we've been going. I mean, I've been getting up every morning at 5:36 and we've been going the road and we've been out in the field till 7 or 7:30 every night. So it's
well, I mean, we had to reschedule the taping of this show because you had work to do that morning.
Yeah. Yes, it's been interesting to say the least. So, but we're very blessed and we're fortunate that we've been able to help a ton of people and make sure that we're there for them and helping our partners. And I can't tell you enough how much I am amazed at how many people have reached out to us to use our services. And so
Yeah.
It's been great, and I can't tell you, it's very overwhelming and wonderful to see that people trust us with their homes.
Well, they do, and I can vouch for that. There's so many people say all the good things about you. You do a great job. You've done a great job for me when I needed some help, and I really appreciate that. So I couldn't recommend you more, Daniel.
Awesome, thank you so much. That brings up a topic, though. I will tell you, we just got nominated in Anna. So the city of Anna as a whole, they have a Chamber Commerce Awards, and they also have an annual benefit that helps the city of Anna and helps the city Anna Chamber of Commerce. We got nominated for Business of the Year just recently.
Nice,
yesterday.
Congratulations.
And then there's a separate nomination for Business Person of the Year, and I got nominated for that as well. So very, very enthusiastic about that. That was really nice to see. So that
Very
just came
cool.
out yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that. But I don't know, Linda, any other questions you think people would have or any information on this topic that I could come up with?
It goes back to kind of the whole title of your show, Daniel, home ownership made easy. And there's a lot of responsibility that comes with owning a home. If you're a first-time homeowner, you're probably sometimes learning that the hard way. I think that's what this show is about, is to kind of shorten the learning curve, right? Because you wake up one day and your fence is gone and your trash cans are gone and your kid's trampoline's gone. And these shows can kind of help us as a reminder of some of those responsibilities we need to think through. And so just being mindful, right? Being mindful of what it is to be a homeowner. And that makes the ownership much easier because if you can prevent it, it's a lot less expensive and time consuming than having to fix it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd rather be preventative than reactive at any day. So
Yep.
because this thing can get away from you in a hurry. And,
Absolutely.
And when you have damage, you can't always get it fixed the next day. And this is a perfect example of that. We're having people call us that supposedly somebody else was coming out 2 days ago. I never got a hold of somebody. Can you please come? I know we're getting more rain tomorrow. And now they're panicking because they know they're fixing to have water coming in their house again. So,
that's a good. I think that's a good topic for another show, because I do think that that's one thing we don't think about. If it breaks, I'll fix it. We don't want our car sitting in the mechanic shop for 2-3 days, a week, whatever, because we need it. But that's one thing. You can borrow another car. You can catch a ride. But if there's something wrong with your house, and it's because of a lot of things like, weather, something like that, it's probably not just going to be your house. So you're competing to get that attention from so many people.
Yeah.
And so being mindful and preventative, because man, just about air conditioning, heating, all that kind of stuff is a really, it takes us out of our comfort zone.
Oh yeah.
And so having a leaky roof that could make one problem even larger, those are things that why I hope people tune into this show and take notes, because I don't think that that's one of the things that they really think about. Okay, I've got insurance. If anything happens, I'll be good. Maybe in 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, you'll be good. But how's your wife going to feel about it?
Not too good, I promise.
Yep.
So, all right, well, Linda, thanks so much. It's been a great episode. Hopefully we can get this out here to get this information out here really soon. But yeah, folks, if you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call, 833-COOK-DFW. Go to our website, cookdfw.com. First tab up there is schedule appointment or schedule estimate. That goes directly to my email. I see it. We get you notified. We get you taken care of. Again, have some patience. We are trying to get to every call same day, if not within 24 hours. Of course, we want to protect your home. We know it's important to you. It's important to us. So just give us a call, email, text, whatever's convenient for you. And until next episode, take care of those homes, and we're there for you if you need us. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in and watching our show. If you would like to see our next show, or more shows like this one, just click the QR code and go to show schedules, or just follow and subscribe to our channels to get updates and notifications of this show, and many others like it.